Testing. All right, it's after 6. Get over here, Luis. The show on the road.
Test, test, test. All right. Greetings to you all, and welcome to the Student Government Presidential and the Vice Presidential debate. My name is Luis Maria III, and I serve as the SGA Election Commissioner, and I will be responsible for overseeing all SGA elections on MTSU's campus. We look forward to providing a comprehensive debate featuring candidates who are vying to be your next student body president and vice president. I assure you that tonight will serve as a valuable experience and would like to remind all members of the student body to participate in our student body elections between March 2nd through the 5th on MyMT. Students will not only be voting on our next president and vice president, but also for our senators. Before we begin, I would to take a moment to thank the election commissioners who have stood by my side throughout this process. I would also like to say thank you to the tech team and live stream support for broadcasting tonight's debate. We also have a couple of very important people in attendance, starting off with our MTSU student trustee, Makai Mosby, to our left, as well as our current student body president, RJ Ware. Finally, I would like to thank and now introduce my co-moderator for this evening, Dr. Danny Kelly. Dr. Danny Kelly serves as the Interim Vice President of Student Affairs and Dean of Students and is also the SGA Advisor. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kelly.
Good evening. Thank you, Luis, for that introduction. It's exciting to be moderating or co-moderating this debate this evening with Luis. It's also my pleasure to welcome the audience members tonight. Without further ado, I want to go over the rules for the debate. So this is extra important that our candidates pay close attention. All candidates shall be granted a maximum of 2 minutes to deliver an opening statement and then 2 minutes to deliver closing statements. For regular questions, we will start with the candidate to our left and rotate for every question. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to respond to each question. A 30-second rebuttal will be allowed to any candidate explicitly mentioned or referred to in an opponent's response to a question. I would also like to ask that audience members be respectful while the candidates are speaking. With that, I now invite the vice presidential candidates, Nia Moore and Allie Pricer, to come forward and take their place at the podiums. Candidates, the following signs will be held up by the election commissioner to signify your speaking time. Is it a green sign? Okay, all right. A sign will be held up when 60 seconds have passed. Another sign will be held up indicating that there are 30 seconds left to finish your response, and a final sign will be held up, letting you know that your time is up. Senator Nia Moore will be the first to give an opening statement, followed by Senator Allie Pricer. Then Senator Allie Pricer will be first to give closing statements, followed by Nia Moore. Senator Moore, you may now give your opening statements.
Thank you, Danny Kelly, for that. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nia Moore, and I'm a sophomore political science major with a concentration in pre-law, minoring in public policy and management. Outside of SGA, I'm also a Blue Elite tour guide. I'm in the BSU, the NAACP. I'm a Lent mentor for the College of Liberal Arts, and I sit on 2 university committees. Within SGA, when I was in freshman council, I served as the co-chair of the PR committee, and currently as a senator, I serve as the co-chair of the Student Life Committee. My mission as Student Body Vice President is to create a more connected, inclusive, and united campus community. I believe every student deserves to feel seen, supported, and valued in every part of university life. By encouraging open communication between students, faculty, administration, I aim to strengthen across our campus. As Vice President, I will focus on three main things. Expanding campus inclusion by broadening opportunities for representation, involvement, and belonging so that every student has a voice and place within this university community. I want to prompt open communication, strengthening trust between students, faculty, administration by fostering transparency, collaborating and having meaningful dialogue across all levels of campus community. I also want to rebuild campus unity between different organizations on campus, bringing together diverse student groups and organizations to reignite school pride, connection, and community spirit across the board. Together, we can build a campus that listens, includes, and stands together. If you join the MORE movement. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Moore. Senator Pricer, you now have 2 minutes to give your opening statement.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Allie Pricer, and I am officially honored to be here tonight, running as your Student Government Association Vice President. Through the years of being here at MTSU, I have always been involved in SGA. I served as the Freshman Council Vice President my first semester, and then the second semester I stepped up to be the Freshman Council President when the former president resigned. Through that, I have learned the leadership skills needed to be a part of an organization that directly affects students here at MTSU, and I currently serve as a senator here, and I'm also the Speaker Pro Tempore, which means when Kennedy Garrett, who is our current Vice President, is unable to attend, I lead the Senate meetings. And so with that experience, I've gained the leadership and the ins and outs of SGA as an organization, and I'm also proud to announce officially that I am running with Kennedy Garrett as my running mate. She is running for SGA president, and we are running together with 3 pillars. The first one being refining our resources, and we're also running to unite our campus and then turning actions into real results. Both of us have had a lot of experience within SGA and other student leader positions at MTSU, and we are ready to run together, and we are tried and true blue. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pricer. That concludes opening statements. We will now turn to questions.
All right, so Nia, you will get the opportunity to answer this question first, followed by Allie. The first question is, how can the student government improve its transparency and accountability to the student body, and what steps would you take to achieve this?
The first thing I would do to continue transparency from the student government into the student body would be making sure, one, that all of our meetings are fully live streamed. We don't do that for every meeting, and I want to make sure that we have that done so students have at least the ability and the availability to view our meetings and see exactly what we're talking about. Aside from that, anytime we get information from faculty and administration, I want to make sure that we're delivering that to them, whether that be through email, social media, or at tables here. So then students are informed with what we're informed, and they can give their personal feedback to us.
Thank you. All right, Allie, you can go.
Okay, for me, I believe that transparency is needed for an organization like SGA, and to do that, I would enact different policies to show that communication through everything that we do. Every piece of legislation that would go through my office would be presented to the students. We are highly active on social media now as an organization, but putting those pieces of legislation that are directly impacting students here on campus would be the first step that I would take to show transparency. It would also be to be more open and honest about the different meetings and committees that we sit on as well as an organization, just to know that we are the students' voices in these rooms that a lot of students aren't able to get into, and just being open and honest with our opinions and what we are saying in these rooms that are directly impacting what the students believe.
Okay, Senator Pricer, you will go first with this next question. What methods would you use to foster collaboration and active participation within the Senate?
Within the Senate, is that what you said?
Within the Senate.
Within the Senate, okay. So I feel like Today with our Senate, we have a lot of participation, but in order to foster more inclusivity with communication and everything inside of the Senate, I would open it up more, making sure the senators feel like it's a safe space where they can talk, where they can fully express their opinions, because there's a reason that there's a multitude of different people in that room with different majors, different backgrounds, different life stories, because every single thing that happens in there is to represent someone on this campus. And so to make more connectivity within Senate, I would lead more open communication, making sure that the senators know that I would be there as their backbone, I am there to support them, and that they are also there to support each other, and that would help them and push them to write more legislation that directly impacts the students.
And Senator Moore, what methods would you use to foster collaboration and active participation within the Senate?
To make more active representation within the Senate, I would personally make sure that every senator feels seen and feels heard. I know specifically when I was in freshman council, we used to hang out together outside of Senate. So we all made friends and we were able to hang out with each other, and we wanted to support each other within the Senate because we knew who each other were. If we're our current Senate, if we don't know who each other are, we're not gonna wanna support and show up for one another. So I wanna do that by either making sure that we're hanging out outside of that, by going to dinners, whether that be once a month or after a meeting every semester. I wanna make sure that we all know each other and we get to become friends so that we can work well together.
Alrighty. Thank you, Senator Moore. All right, this third question will go to Senator Moore, and then it will be followed by Senator Pricer. What part of the vice president's role excites you the most, and how do you intend to create meaningful impact in your position?
The part about the vice president role that I am most excited about would be the leading people and being a voice that someone can come talk to. Whether that be within the Senate or the freshman council or the student body, I know if someone comes to me, I can take that issue and get it to the right person, so then they can either write that legislation or they can get that question answered for them, so then they can have that effective change, so then people on campus will feel more comfortable.
Thank you. Now, Senator Pricer, what part of the vice president's role excites you the most, and how do you intend to create meaningful impact in your position?
For me, being the voice for students is what leads me to want this position the most. It gives me passion and drive to pursue this. I've been in positions where I've had similar roles as freshman council president, so I've been in the room, I know Robert's rules, I know how to do it, but besides all that, I want to do this because I want to be the voice, and I want to be able to truly make a change at MTSU and make it feel more like a community and a family rather than just a school that we all go to.
Thank you. It's now time for our audience members to ask questions. After a member of the audience has asked a question, each candidate shall have a maximum of 2 minutes to respond to that question. We will start with questions you have for a specific candidate. Please raise your hand only if you have a question for a specific candidate, and I will come to you with the mic so that you may ask your question. You will then have an opportunity to ask questions of all candidates after this round is completed. Does anyone have a question for all candidates? Or both candidates, that is?
So I know that both of you want to create an inclusive campus environment. So with like IDA shutting down and June Anderson shutting down, what specific ways would you make sure that all groups of students feel safe and included on our campus?
And either one of you can answer first.
I can start. I would say that since the government has made us not offer programs that really helped and supported a bunch of students here at MTSU, and we could fight back with that as a university, but we would lose a lot of scholarships and grants with that. So the universities took a stance to take away all of those opportunities and those resources for students. But as a student and a student leader, I support for everything for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I want every student to feel like they're supported. And to do that, I would want to bring awareness to all the student organizations that we have on campus, because we have over 300 student organizations here on campus, but not every student knows what they are, when they are, how they are, where they are. And so I would like to bring more awareness to that. And also, I would like to make it where student organizations it's easier to register a student organization and or re-register, because right now that's a really hard process, and it makes it where student organizations feel threatened, where they can't really talk to the faculty about getting re-registered because it's a hard process. So I would make that process easier so that any student who wants to start a student organization could therefore do that in order to support other students as well.
For me, it would be making sure that all students are informed of the new things that we have. Yes, the IDA office closed, as did some of the June Anderson Center, but we also have up in Cecil, we have the Center for New and Non-Traditional Students. It's another resource that students can use. So it would be informing all students of the new resources that the university has implemented since those offices have closed, as well as making sure that some of the organizations that don't feel like they're seen or heard on campus get the opportunity to come and step into the same light as some of our bigger organizations on campus.
So, a percentage of tuition goes for student activity fees. What are your kind of visions or ideas for how you can make sure that those fees are going towards initiatives and things that the students want to see and that they care about?
The simplest way that I will aim to do that would be asking students, generally going from where those students hang out, whether that be here in the STU, whether that be at the middle, the library, wherever the case may be. A lot of students are in Peck Hall as well. So hitting those high points of campus during traffic times so students can tell me straight to my face who and where and what they want to see and what will make their experience on campus better. What will make this campus feel less like school and more like home.
For me, SGA already directly impacts where the student activity fee is divided, and just last year, Senate passed legislation that I voted yes on to increase the fee to give more opportunities for different things on campus, like the signature events concert. A lot more money for that so we can get bigger headliners here for the students. We also allocated more money for the rec so that every single thing there would be free for students. So it's more just, again, like taking more of the information that I can get from students and then directly impacting that as vice president, because I would be in the room where the committees are meeting, where they're asking questions, wanting student preference. I would have that knowledge from students and people that are here on campus, and then I would be able to implement that in the committees and tell the people that kind of allocate it, that's what we want as students and that's what we need.
What will you do to uplift small student organizations like mine and others to get students involved?
I would bring awareness to all the student organizations because, as I mentioned, there are over 300 and not a lot of people know where they are, what they are. So just bringing recognition to the smaller organizations and kind of just making sure we advertise it, and like even the smaller organizations, even if you have 5 members, even if it's 10, even if it's 100, we want to promote that so that every student can find somewhere that they can call home.
Much like Senator Pricer, I would do similar things, making sure that there is awareness put out for that. But one way to do that would be making sure that all students know when a new organization comes on campus or when a smaller organization is on campus, so then they can have the option to come and join. So whether that be emails being sent out, I know we already receive a lot of emails a day, but whether that be an email or a video or whatever that may happen or whatever that case may be, that students will have access to see this is something new and something different, that and see if people are interested. I know personally, I receive a lot of emails from my department, from the Political and Global Affairs department. They send me a lot of emails with a lot of information. If we could do something similar to that, so then we get the information and we see the new things happening, all students will have the opportunity to join those smaller orgs, so then they gain the publicity and they gain the numbers to become one of those bigger orgs.
Okay, so with the current political climate being so heavily divisive in the country and the state at the time, how do you, as student leadership, plan to foster an environment in SGA where people feel comfortable regardless of their political beliefs?
For me, student government is a neutral place that all students can come to. No matter your political party, no matter your religion, your belief, your race, it's a place that all students can come together so then we can make a change for each other as a complete total. Does that make sense?
For me, I feel like everyone is, at the end of the day, is entitled to their own opinion. That's why we have different sides. But for Senate and for SGA, that's where we can all come together and be united for the students, because that's what our job is. It's to be united, a united front. We'll have our opinions. That's what makes Senate Senate, because someone might come with an idea that needs to be tweaked, that needs to be changed, and someone else's opinion can help them do that. And so I wouldn't shut it down, but it's still an open place to be able to express your opinions and what you believe.
Thank you. We've heard some of your platforms, but I want to know from each of you, what is a priority legislation that you want to have happen?
For me, a priority legislation I want to have happen is just having more students, involved. Sorry, one second. Nia, do you want to take it first?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll go
thank you.
For me, a priority legislation is going to be anything mental health related. I know me personally, I am someone who has gone through mental health struggles before when my brother passed away. So I know the effect that can take on you and the effect that can have when we're in school. So my main goals will be either, we already have the resources, it's making sure that students know where the resources are and making sure that we have more immediate access to it. You don't have to go through an evaluation and then something else just to get to have an appointment with the therapist. It's so where you can go through and you're just, hey, I need help right here, right now, in this moment. I need your help.
Okay, and going back, I would say that just making sure the students have the voice, because the student feedback and change is what we need, and we need more people to be involved. And so I would have legislation that has it where students are more encouraged to get involved, because we're a big commuter campus. Everyone comes, they go to class, and they leave. So I would push to have a greater reach to the students here so that they feel more included and that they can get involved without having to sit around in the stew, wait for 3 hours for the event to start after the class. So I'd push legislation to make that change.
Any other questions? All right, let's give them a round of applause. Sorry about that. So that now concludes audience questions. Senator Pricer, you now have 2 minutes to give your closing statement.
Yes, so again, I just want to thank everyone for being here and all of the support that you guys have for not only me as a candidate, but also SGA in total. Not a lot of students here really know what student government does or what SGA is or why there are elections, but just you guys coming and showing support proves that you guys really care about this election and the candidates that are being presented in front of you. And I just want to again remind you that I'm running with Kennedy Garrett and that we are standing on tried and true blue. We have the qualifications, we have the leadership experience, and we have what we need to be to fulfill these roles that we're candidates for. And thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pricer. Senator Moore, you now have 2 minutes to give your closing statement.
I just want to say thank you. I know it's a Monday night. I know everyone's tired. I want to say thank you for coming out. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to show up and listen to us, and so you can see what we're about and who we're about and who we're with. I do want to say the leadership experience I have, I might not be directly from a president role, but I do have that leadership experience. I hold it in many other organizations, and I hold it in different positions that I have, whether that be across campus or just people in general, whether that be younger grades looking up to me or anything of that sort. Thank you.
All right, now please join me in giving a round of applause to both of our presidential candidates. We will now have a 5-minute break so that way we're able to rearrange the stage for our presidential debate. this. I now invite our presidential candidates, Kennedy Garrett, Travell Haddix, and Devin McClendon, to take the place behind the podiums on stage. Test, test. Okay. Vice President Garrett, you now have 2 minutes to give your opening statement. You will then be followed by Travell, who will then be followed by Devin.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kennedy Garrett. I have the honor to stand before you as the current Student Government Association Vice President and officially the official candidate to run for Student Government Association President. My journey in SGA began as a freshman. I joined our freshman council, and through freshman council, one of the first things I did was run for vice president. Although I was not elected a vice president, I started a leadership initiative there. I then was able to be appointed to our Senate, and from there, I ran as vice president, to which I'm standing here today. Through being in SGA and those different experiences as a freshman, I had the opportunity to learn what true service and being a true advocate for our student means, and being in those spaces and those rooms and speaking for our students when they do not have the opportunity to, or the means or ways to get to those committee meetings or those roles that I get to be in. Tonight, as Allie said, I am running alongside her as my running mate. She is running as vice president, and we are running on 3 pillars. One of those is refining our resources for our student organizations. Student organizations should feel like they have the right resources to make sure that they can keep functioning on our campus, to ensure that students know that they have a space where they can feel heard and that they can meet. We also are running to unite our campus. I feel that right now, our climate outside of MTSU may not feel safe, but I can say if I'm elected president and Allie is elected as vice president, we will ensure that a student on this campus knows that they are safe in the classroom and outside of the classroom. And last but not least, we are also running on turning action into real results. We feel that actions speak louder than words, and I want you all to know if I'm elected president that anything that I say now, anything that I have ever told you, I will do my very best to ensure that the actions are taking place to get those needs met. Our campaign is grounded also on one core belief, as we are tried and true blue. The experience that I have been able to gain from being in freshman council to now, I have taken with me every step of the way, which has led me to have the true meaningful solutions through legislation as a senator and through being able to be our Speaker of the Senate and Director of our freshman council now. Our students deserve a leader who knows the system, who has respect and responsibility, and is ready to start on day one. Garrett X. Pricer is a
And
winning
that is
ticket.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Garrett. Senator Haddix, you now have 2 minutes to give your opening statement.
First, I rise and give honor to Jesus Christ, who's my Lord and Savior. And I thank you all for coming out. Good evening. Good evening, Blue Raiders. My name is Travell Haddix, known as True. It's me, True. Yes, say who is True? I'm True. And I stand before you today as an honors finance student who is now in the place of an SGA senator. When I transferred, I didn't just see a campus. I seen a massive amount of talent. But I also noticed something else. While we have incredible people, while we have incredible teachers, incredible faculty, we often work in silos. We have brilliant multicultural organizations, dedicated athletes, and hard-working scholars. But we are missing cohesive sense of unity. Now is the time to unite. We can no longer stand in division and move in a place of being impactful. You cannot move in impact if you are moving in division. There's no gain. So in my first semester as a senator, I made a mission to bridge, not only to bridge the gap between students and faculty, but to be that bridge. They can come to me and I will go directly to the teachers. I will go directly to the department. In order, I will talk to my vice president first. But I've been connected with hundreds of you to see and to ensure that your voice was being spoken upon. This leadership is what I call qualitative. My leadership will show quality in my work. My work will be rooted and only rooted in seeing you be happy, seeing you be at peace, seeing you be joyed. That's it. Just make that.
And y'all good?
Thank you, Senator Haddix.
Yes, sir.
Director McClendon, you now have 2 minutes to give your opening platform.
Good evening. My name is Devin McClendon. And before I'm anything else, a candidate, a director, a leader, I'm a student, just like you. I know what it feels like to walk across this campus and wonder if anyone is listening. To juggle classes, work, organizations, and life, and still feel like you're doing it alone. To care deeply about MTSU, but sometimes feel disconnected to the people making decisions for it. That feeling is real, and that feeling matters. I'm running for SJ president because I believe students deserve more than representation on paper. We deserve connection in real life. Connection between students and student government, connection between ideas and action, connection between where we are and where we want this campus to be. As your events director, I've seen what happens when people feel included. They show up, they engage, they start believing that MTSU belongs to them. As president, that belief has to be backed by action, including clear, more consistent communication about things that affect students every single day, like parking and transportation. As president, my goal is simple: to make sure every student feels seen, heard, and valued. Whether you live on campus or commute, whether you're a freshman finding your way or a senior preparing to leave. That means creating a campus-wide student questionnaire every semester so students can directly share what's going on, what's working, what isn't working, and what needs to change. And making sure feedback leads to real conversations and real progress. It also means building campus pride by creating mystery.
And that is time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Events Director McClendon. We will now turn to questions.
Okay, the first question, we will start with Travell, followed by Devin, and end with Kennedy. Your first question is, as a representative of over 20,000 students, how do you intend to lead and serve the student body effectively and with inclusiveness?
Yes, sir. So, as a leader, often your actions, the energy per se, it can feed off into the students. So by keeping my life right, by staying in track with my life and my dreams and my success, I can help other students. I could be that person that they can come to, and I can make change. I can show them the way. I can lead them. I mentor. So I can mentor, I can pour into them. I can give them what they need. Yes, sir.
All right, next is Devin. I will repeat the question for you. As a representative of over 20,000 students, how do you intend to lead and serve the student body effectively and with inclusiveness?
Thank you so much for that question. I genuinely believe that in order to serve, you must listen. You must listen to students. You must listen to the issues that they face, the problems that they go through. And then you have to respond accordingly. Fight for them. Let them know that they're heard. Acknowledge them. Make sure that they're seen. Service starts by listening, and then it's followed by action, by creating programs to make them feel seen, to make them feel heard, and to make this campus more inclusive, more inviting, and able to take on anything. Thank you.
And finally, Kennedy, as a representative of over 20,000 students, how do you intend to lead and serve the student body effectively and with inclusiveness?
Thank you. I would like to say if I'm elected your student body president, I would first lead with intention. I think that our students want to see intentionality. I would want to ensure that our students understand that that is a reason, that is one of my second pillars of my campaign, which is United We Stand. I feel that inclusivity is needed on our campuses. It is needed more than ever, I feel. I feel that when we are in our classrooms, but especially when we're outside of our classrooms, our students should know where they are represented and how. And if there is any student on this campus that does not feel they are being represented, do they know who they can come to and who will truly make sure that they are being represented? And I think that comes with true intention and them knowing that they have a student body president that is leading with that and will always lead with that as one of their pillars.
Thank you. Now for question 2. Director McClendon, you will take this one first, followed by Vice President Garrett, followed by Senator Haddix. The question is, how will you handle situations where student concerns conflict with administrative policies or decisions?
First and foremost, I'm going to talk to my team. The cabinet is very important, it's critical. It's the difference between a successful administration and a not so successful administration. I would discuss it with them. I would talk about it with them, and then I would talk to Dr. Danny Kelly, and then I would get back to the students. I would get back to the student who has an inquiry, a question, a problem, and whatever they have, I'm going to make sure that I communicate to them as clearly and as simply as possible. That while we can't do or modify it that way, we can do it differently. We can do it a different way. I would try to find some type of solution to their problem. Finding a solution even through the issue is the most important aspect of what a president is supposed to do and what a good president does. Thank you.
Dr. Kelly, can you repeat the question for me?
Yes. How will you handle situations where students' concerns conflict with administrative policies or decisions?
I think that recently, being in this position currently as vice president, that is something that we saw recently, especially with the diversity, equity, and inclusion cuts. And I think something I learned from that through that process is that, number one, I would want to ensure if I'm elected president that we are remaining respectful of our university administration, but also letting students understand that as my role as student body president, as well as any other executive board position, that we are not spokespersons for the university, but we are advocates of the students. If students are coming with concerns, and if they feel that those concerns do not align with the university policy, or the university policy is causing them negative effects, then what can I do to ensure that students know that those needs are going to be taken possibly to administration, or there are going to be steps that I can do as president to make sure that they are being met, whether that is possibly forming a committee, having a student forum where they can come and express their direct concerns with the policy, but ultimately letting students know, although the university policy may say this and that it could cause negative effects, that as student body president, I would ensure that their main concerns are the forefront of what is happening to form that solution.
Thank you. And now Senator Haddix.
Could you repeat that question for me?
How will you handle situations where students' concerns conflict with administrative policies or decisions?
I would move in my core value of being adaptable. Adaptability is when you try to hit a mark or try to hit a place, but it doesn't work that way. So I was trying to find another way to get to that solution. But if a student is not applying, if they're not following the rules of the administration, then I'll have to sit down with them and tell them, this is what you went wrong. This is where this was wrong. I can't do this, but I can do this for you. So just being an ear, if I get elected as president, just being an ear, before you can be a voice, you have to be an ear. You have to hear, you have to listen. In order to speak what the students are saying, you have to listen. You have to be an ear first. So my adaptability it's going to get done. What they need is going to get done. But it might not be the way that they want it done.
Thank you.
Okay, and the final question, we'll start with Kennedy, then move to Travell, and then Devin. How will you work to improve campus resources and services such as mental health support, academic advising, campus safety, or anything else that you think is important?
I would like to say with this question, I want to shout out who is the current student body president, as something that he has led on is mental health. So I'm going to focus this with mental health, as I think that mental health is a growing issue in the world, but on college campuses, it is a leading threat to a lot of students. I would like to build upon that foundation that has been set, that President Ware has put in force. I think that ensuring that resources around mental health and other mental health-based things are needed for our students, as we are not just students in the classroom, we also leave those classrooms and go to other spaces. And if we are not able to fully pour into ourselves outside of the classroom, then we cannot be expected to show up in those classroom spaces. So I would ultimately, if I'm elected president, want to make sure that the resources we have affecting mental health, campus safety, or anything else are continued to be pushed. And if they're needed to have revisions, talk to those students, talk to those departments, and see what we can do, as the main concern would be for our students to know that they have resources for them in any of those times of need.
And Travell, the same question for you. How will you work to improve campus resources and services, such as mental health support, academic advising, campus safety, or other issues?
Big thing with academic advising, sometimes when students go to their advisor, they're not given all the information that they need, even concerning that their tuition fees don't pay book cost. So I would work towards even bringing more awareness about to that tuition does not cover the full tuition cost. With mental health awareness, I also went through a battle of depression where it was just torment, depression, and I shut myself in. So advocating and pushing that agenda out that there's somebody that will help you. There's somebody here that can be of assistance to you. There's somebody here that you can go to, you can call on. So I would just lead them to that resource. And the last question, what was the last thing you said again?
Mental health support, academic advising, campus safety, or other issues?
Campus safety. A big thing about campus safety, I often see, women walking around late. Some of my friends, they told me that the police would not pick them up unless it was either raining or cold. So I want to provide even further aid towards people on campus who need help getting back to their cars or dorms, or they feel scared. So, yes, sir.
And Devin, how will you work to improve campus resources and services such as mental health support, academic advising, campus safety, or other issues?
So connectivity is the hallmark of my campaign. Connecting students to resources is my first initiative and my first responsibility. I want to give thanks to President R.J. Ware for first and foremost creating the mental health task force, working alongside the president and yourself, Dr. Danny Kelly. Thank you all for establishing that. My responsibility will be to continue to enhance and support that initiative and that task force, make sure that it's applied with everything that it needs to be successful as possible. Students need to have somebody to talk to, somebody to lean on, somebody to work with. We go through things, and we deserve to have somebody to have our back. I am the person that you have to lean on, the person you have to be a support system for you, and we have services that you can go to and that you can get help from. Another pillar, another thing, another resource that I want to enhance is campus Wi-Fi. There is no reason why we have or why we should have so many issues with the Wi-Fi. I think the main issue or the main thing that we would need to do is talk to IT and talk to the senators. Push legislation, create legislation to enhance campus Wi-Fi so that all students can connect, can discuss, can learn, and can study, because we're here to get an education. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to turn it over to the audience who have questions of individual candidates, not all three. If you have a question of an individual candidate, Luis will be floating around with the mic so you can ask those questions first.
Okay, my question is, what is your biggest priority for improving student life, and how will you realistically achieve it? Trevette.
The question's for Travell. Do you want her to repeat it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
What is your biggest priority for improving student life, and how will you realistically achieve it?
The biggest priority is your mental well-being, helping you and leading you to resources that will help you mentally, also physically, and emotionally. So being a person that you can come to not only for the seat, but I'm here to build friendship. I'm here to be an advocate. I'm here to be the voice for you. If you have any problem, you can always come to me. You can always come to the SGA office during office hours, possibly. Is that what y'all do, office hours? And we can figure something out.
Hello. My question is for Kennedy. My question is, how important do you feel character, integrity, and reputation is for SGA president?
Thank you, Miracle, for that question. I feel that character, integrity, and reputation first does not just apply to an elected role or role. I feel that it applies or should apply to your life in general as a human being and as a student. If I'm relating that to if I'm elected to student body president, I feel that that is something that you should believe and just embody as a whole. I feel that being vice president, that is something I always think about, as when I leave the SGA office or when I take off my polo, quarter zip that has my title on it, I am still seen at times as the student body vice president. So at that moment, I still have to conduct myself in ways that show that I have character, that I have integrity, that my reputation matters. I feel that if I'm elected student body president, that is something that everyone should see, whether I'm in the room or not. And if there was ever a statement that was made or anyone said something about my character, then anyone in the room should be able to speak positive of that because of the actions I do in front of them, but also the actions that they possibly do not see. Thank you.
Hi, my question is for Devin. So you're running on a pillar of inclusivity. As an international student, given that the June Anderson Center got dismantled in the given years, that was one of the things that international students use to kind of connect to other international students of where they're from. Now we don't really have anything that is able to connect us to them things. We're told to just create a club, which we can't really do if we're not given a list of the people that are from where we're from or any type of connection to them. So what is one thing that you will do in order to bridge that gap between the international students on this campus?
So one of the things that I'm going to do is educate. When that was taken down and a new name was given, The same resources, the same mission and idea, the services they provided, it just got opened up, right, to all students and not just international students. So the services, they're still there. The people, they're still here. They're still here for you, and my responsibility would be to connect you to them. So thank you.
Senator Trueville, what will you do as president to make this campus more accessible to students such as fixing the brick floor outside of this building?
That is actually a job I can do even possibly now. Writing legislation about that brick outside and going through funding and getting it passed, that can happen even in my current position today. Just going about it and doing it, that's it. Yes, ma'am. That's it.
This is for Devin McClendon. Why do you think it's important for a president to be personable?
I think being personable, having charisma is important as an SGA president because every student needs to know who you are. They need to know who you're advocating for. They need to know that you're here. And personability starts with going around, speaking to people, knowing people, connecting with people. Because if no one knows who you are, if no one knows what you do, then what are you doing? And how are you going to impact the student body? How are you going to serve them? How are you going to be a voice for them in rooms where they're not? How are you going to be there for them when you don't know them? How are you going to stand up for them when you're not there? Personability, charisma, it's important because it establishes a connection. It establishes personality. It establishes humanity so that the everyday student knows who you are, what you do, and they know that you're there for them. Thank you so much for that question.
Any other questions? Okay. We will now move into the session where you can ask any question to all three of the candidates.
Thank you. As I'm sure all of you are aware, there has been legislation both nationally and statewide to rid DEI programs around all of the universities around the country and around the state of Tennessee. Seeing as though I am part of the Black History Month Committee and we had to do all those things ourselves with no input and no help from the school itself, what do you plan on doing to help organizations, specifically minority organizations that feel that though the school has abandoned us or thrown everything on us to figure it out ourselves rather than, giving us a blueprint?
Thank you for that question, Denzel. I will speak to, again, what my slogan is, tried and true blue with experience. I had the opportunity since serving as vice president to be a part of some of those Black History Month Committee meetings. And one of the meetings we went to, our current administration with RJ Ware and our e-board agreed to support the Black History Month Committee with funding if it was needed to help them support those programs and support their ideas. If I'm elected student body president, I want to be very clear when I say this, that diversity, equity, and inclusion will be something that is stood on and is stood on with intention, and that the executive board, if I'm elected, will also know that that is something that we will lead with. When it comes to student programming and organizations, if money cannot be given, if we are not awarded the budget like we had this year to be able to do that, I will ensure that there are other ways that you all do have the resources that you need, as I feel that due to the current legislation that has happened, our student organizations are needed more than ever to ensure that our students have community, but our organizations cannot do that if they don't have the proper resources or know who to reach out to. So I'd just like to state again, it would be with intention, and it would be followed through the whole time if I'm elected with my administration, that diversity, equity, inclusion will be supported in ways that the university possibly cannot, but from a student standpoint, it will be, and from a student leadership standpoint, it will be.
Going off Vice President Garrett, being in the place of a senator, I have not talked about that with the e-board, but I would build a way to fund student organizations. That's part of my mission actually, is to provide for student organizations, increase the funding. So if any student needs help funding the organization, they can come to us and they can be funded. It's as simple as that, yes, sir.
So first and foremost, I would start by educating all student organizations and letting them know that services are still here for you. Funding is still here for you. Programming for anything that you want to make happen is still here for you. Diversity, equity, and inclusion may not be able to live on in the laws or in an administration, but it can live on in spirit. It can live on in duty. It can live on in acting in a way that brings people together, that bridges people together, and that connects all of us to each other. Thank you.
Good evening. Students' concern about the quality of campus food continue to increase. As president, how would you all address this issue?
Thank you for that question, Ryan. I currently have had the opportunity to serve on the Food Service Committee. That committee is alongside myself, another student, and as well as executives from the Aramark department and some other campus administration. Through that committee, we have had the opportunity to get feedback from surveys, but also we were awarded some Flexbucks to also try the different food options ourselves and see how our students responded to this. How do we respond to the food options? I will say that I think that at our campus and university, we do have affordable food options for our students, but we have seen from feedback, as you said, that some students are not okay with how the food options are going. From being on that committee, I have seen that there is change that needs to be had, and from that, I was able to invite the Aramark executive to come to one of our Senate meetings where he was able to present to the senators some of the plans that are currently in the works of happening on this campus in the next few years. So I want to, if I'm elected president, to ensure that those initiatives would continue, those conversations, putting students from our Senate or other areas of our campus on those committees to let those executives and people know what our students truly need. If their money is going to these food options and they are not happy, what can we do in these roles to ensure that that is happening and that that food can increase and get better?
And I feel like as if we could get a random sampling of students and meet with the Aramark, the people who provide our food, and y'all can give them feedback, then we can go about moving forth on that.
I've had an opportunity to eat at McCallie's and Farmers, and the reality is that it's not always the best. It's not the tastiest meal that you're going to have. But what we can do to enhance the quality of food and the taste is pass legislation. Get in touch with MT Dining and talk to them about the recipes, the way that they prepare the food. That makes a difference. If you express your concerns, they will be heard, they will be answered, they will be taken care of. We take heed to everybody's issues will get taken care of. So talk to MT Dining. I would encourage senators to pass legislation to improve food quality here on campus, and the taste. So thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to see, what are you all involved in on campus? What organizations are you all a part of? And if so, do you feel like being a part of these organizations, you can speak for the rest of the students on the campus?
Thank you for that question. Aside from Student Government Association, I'm a Blue Elite tour guide, so I have the opportunity of getting to be with other students who get to invite those prospective students on our campus. I also was a part of Lambda Sigma Honor Society my sophomore year, so I was able to be in a room with other like-minded individuals on an academic level. I also had the opportunity with one of my first leadership positions when I got here as a freshman. I was vice president of Black Student Union, which I'm currently still a member of. I also have had the opportunity to be a TISL representative, which comes out of the political science department. I acted basically in mock government, and I was able to go to the Capitol and act as a representative and get that firsthand experience. I will say that being in these different positions, it definitely has made me feel, being VP right now, and if I'm elected student body president, to be able to speak for a diverse range of students. I feel that being in these spaces, you get to learn a lot as you are leading. Even if you're not leading and you're just a member, you are getting to experience things. And as I said in the beginning in my opening statement, I take those experiences with me in everything that I'm doing. If I have learned how to speak better with public speaking from giving tours, I'll put that into my VP role as being Speaker of the Senate. If I was in Lambda Sigma and I learned how to possibly have better time management to have more academic success, I applied that to my role as VP. So I definitely can say the multitude of other involvement that I have on campus definitely does help me feel that I can speak for a diverse range of students and different needs.
I'm currently a member of 13 different clubs on campus, one of which I serve as a president over, which is the Remnant Church Organization campus. Also, I'm the vice president of the Investment Club Officers. I'm part of Financial Modeling Club. I'm a part of MTS Futuro. I'm part of ASO, Real Estate Club Officers, and a bunch of more clubs. Economics Club, it's a lot of clubs. But the things that I've learned in these, and moving in these clubs is connecting with them, is moving in unity, is becoming one, is learning how to work as a team. As an investor, we read the market and we move strategically. So in me being in a place of investment, the vice president of the investment club, I've learned how to lead, I learned how to guide, I learned how to instruct, I learned how to teach. And there's a lot more I can say on investment club, but as the president of the Remnant Club, I'm actually director over my church collegiate ministry. So I direct people in different areas, in different sections of how to go about a situation, when to pull out. I give them discernment, I give them wisdom, I give them knowledge of how to move. And it's up to them to be obedient and to move into that wisdom, into that knowledge, to get the result.
If I'm going to talk about campus involvement and the organization I'm involved in, I want to start from the beginning. When I first got here at MTSU, I started out as an MTSU football equipment manager. So I was responsible for taking care of football equipment for the football team. I joined Student Government Association, where I ran as to be the freshman council president. Unfortunately, I did not get that position. But I did become the chair of the special events committee for the freshman council. I went on to join Collegiate 100, a mentorship/community service organization here on campus geared towards brotherhood. Additionally, I joined Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, a fraternity created to enhance the community through brotherhood. Another organization I'm a part of is PR Nation. It's a club here on campus. We work out together, we go to the gym together. We try to do our personal best and get to our personal best together. And then in my sophomore year, I became the SGA events director. And so I've been allowed to create and be the head of all SGA events and programming outside of homecoming. And it's been fun. And so being a part of these different organizations and having these experiences has equipped me with the knowledge and the understanding to be able to speak for the people who are around me, my peers. Getting up at 5 a.m. to help the football team, or joining a fraternity, or serving the student body by putting on events that they can come to and have fun at. That experience is what allows me to be a voice for you, to help you, to advocate for you, to push administrators and senators to be the best that they can be and the best that we can be. So thank you so much for that question.
Thank you. Hey, y'all. I know a lot of students they feel a lot of discomfort by the presence of Turning Point USA of MT. So I was wondering, how can y'all ease the discomfort students feel by the presence?
Thank you so much for that question. I would say that I think all of us are aware of the political climate that we're personally in outside of the walls of MTSU. I think that something that allows us to be great is that we have a First Amendment right to freedom of speech. I will say that if I'm elected student body president, that I will ensure that every student does feel that they can be a part of an organization, that that organization can get registered, and that they can be represented. Now from that, if there is an organization that is having hate speech or what they are doing in that organization is causing students to not feel safe or to be heard in whatever matter, then those concerns would be addressed in a way to possibly reach out to that organization, see if there can be a meeting set up to tell the organization the concerns, see if that organization can speak to those concerns and go from there. I will say that I think, again, something that makes us great as a campus is that we have over 300 student organizations. We have organizations that students can join based on their political affiliation, their culture, or even just something that they like to do. So I would say, again, as student body president, I would want to ensure that organizations know they can be here, but also that if what they are doing is causing hate and is causing a negative approach, then that will be addressed. And how that is addressed, that will be dependent upon whatever is happening and addressed with the proper personnel and channels that it would need to go through.
And I agree with Vice President Kennedy Garrett. If the organization is not aligning with the organization guidelines, I done lost my thought. But if it's not aligning with the organization's guidelines, then it's something that we cannot do. It's something we cannot move about doing or moving against, because it has to be aligned with the constitutional. You know what I mean? Gotcha. Okay.
Similar to my colleagues' points, at MTSU, everybody has the ability, and in America, everybody has the ability of free speech. They have that right to speak freely as they may, but they do not have the right to spread hate and division. And so under a McClendon administration, we will make sure that that does not take place. We will put a firm foot forward in establishing connections between any organization, no matter what political affiliation, racial, or creed. We will make sure that we establish those connections. We'll make sure that we communicate that no hate will be given, no hate will be accepted. And we will make sure that we communicate that love will always live on here at MTSU, no matter what organization you're in, no matter what you believe, and no matter who you are. Thank you.
Hi, I just have one question. How do you defer personal from professional emotions, and how do you react under frustrating conditions?
That is an amazing question. Currently serving as your vice president, every week there is a new challenge, there is a new obstacle. About 80 of our students on our roster come from the legislative branch. So we have about 35 freshman counselors, 35-ish senators. So personally, at times that can be a lot because outside of this role, I am still a student. So I still face the same obstacles that you all face. I still have classes, I still have life stresses, but at the same time, professionally, I have to ensure that I'm doing my role. So what I do to ensure that that is happening, and what I would continue to do if I was elected student body president, is to make sure that I am taking time for myself and pouring into myself. If that means using the resources that we have in student government, whether that is asking our chief of staff if there's something that she can help me on, or whoever it would be, whether that is reaching out to our advisor, if something is not going right and I feel that it's causing too much strain to where I can continue to do that possible role, asking for those resources to get help. I think that separating personal and professional can be very hard, but it's all about a balance. And I think that when students see that, then they trust you. And I think that that is something that being in my current role, I have been able to experience, and I would like to take if I'm elected your student body president, to show you that I will go through frustrations because life is not perfect, but I will be able to handle those in a mature way and have that balance to ensure that whatever I'm possibly going through personally or professionally is not intertwining and stopping the work that needs to be done.
And could you re-ask that question for me?
How do you defer personal from professional emotions and react under frustrating conditions?
Oh, yes. Being integral and accountable, no matter what. Doing the right thing under pressure. No matter how heavy it gets, you got to do your job. I believe in getting the job done. If I said I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. If I tell you a thing, I'm going to act on my word. I'm going to stand on my word, and I'm going to abide in it. Everything that I say up here, I mean it. I mean it. So being integral and accountable, you can count on me. You can come to me and expect that thing that I told you to come to happen. You will see what my promise be acted upon.
Everybody who knows me, even the executive board of SGA currently, they know that I always try to operate in a positive mindset. I always try to respond with love, even if somebody's responding with hate. And when I walk into that office, or when I'm in a meeting, or when I'm talking to people, all they see is positivity. All they see is love. I will never, and I mean never, show hate nor disrespect to someone under any circumstances when it comes to this role and operating, if I'm so fortunate to be elected as SGA president. Hate, division, it has no place in that office. It has no place on this campus. And so thank you so much for asking that question.
You solve potential political violence on campus.
Thank you for that question. That is a very heavy topic. Political violence is something that should have no place, not only on our campus, but in our society. If I'm elected student body president, I can assure you that violence and hate would not be tolerated. As I said with the other question about the political organization, if at any point there is any violence that is happening to another student, from a student, or whatever the case may be, that will be addressed. If that student does not feel comfortable going to the proper channels to address that, then I will ensure that they know who their student body president is, who their representatives are, so that that situation can be addressed. I want to keep saying that if I'm elected student body president, no form of hate, whether it is political, racial, any type, will be tolerated. And I think that if students know that, and they know that I am leading again on my second pillar of United We Stand, then there should be no type of political hate at all. We should all be trying to understand each other. Even though we may not agree politically, we may not have the same mindset, it should never go to the point of violence. And if it does, it would be addressed.
With my points being quality, community, and unity. Anything that would threaten the community or our unity, we have to cease it. It cannot be tolerated. We won't tolerate it. We won't allow it. If anything begins to rise up or happen, we'll stop it then and there. Just working as a team, being a community is what we are building here. This is about unity. uniting different backgrounds into one family, making everybody feel as if they are one and are equal. That is what we're working on.
Political violence has no place on this campus, has no place in our dorms, it has no place in our classrooms, it has no place in our meetings, it has no place here. And it will not be tolerated under any circumstances. My responsibility and the mission of my campaign is to connect students. So we're connecting with each other through political division. We're not stopping there. We're not stopping under the premise that I'm not going to talk to you, I'm not going to connect with you because I don't believe what you believe. I think personally that that's unacceptable, and I think in this climate, the most important thing that we can do is to connect with each other, to grow together, to be there together, through hate, through division, and do it with love. So thank you for that question.
All right, we have time for one more question.
Okay, I want to circle back on my question that I asked previously, which was basically how are you going to bridge the gap between international students to each other? But I also want to go a little bit more in depth in terms of helping those students get to the next step. So for me, getting my citizenship, I had to do that by myself. I didn't have any type of help from the university, which I know other colleges do help their students with. So what is something that you will do for these students that are on visas or that are immigrants to help them with their next steps, whether that be citizenship or applying for a work visa?
To answer the first part that you said earlier about just in general helping international students still feel represented on this campus with current changes, I had the opportunity to meet an organization, Asian Student Association, and through that we had a conversation and they were just telling me how they feel like their organization is growing but they at times feel that they're not represented and that they are underrepresented. And I think to answer that, as if I was elected student body president, one of the main things I would do is meet students where they are at. If international students do not feel that they are represented right now, where can I meet them? Where are they? Are they in the student union? Are they away? Are they on campus even? Once we figure those answers out, getting that meeting started, getting those conversations started so that I can understand what needs to happen instead of just trying to do a solution that may not work because I don't understand the problem first at hand. To answer your second question, if I was elected body president, I would want to help students who possibly are seeking those student visas or those work visas in a way through possible marketing, whether that is using our social media platforms to push education resources of this is how you can do this. If you are an international student, this is where you can go on campus to get that help, but also through other avenues of using our Senate, possibly reaching out to senators and seeing if they, through a committee, the External Affairs Committee, could possibly have a tabling where they collab with another international student organization to get the information out. I feel that if the disconnect is not only that international students feel underrepresented, but it's also that they don't even feel they have resources, you have to start at ground one, and that is meeting those students where they're at. So I would ensure that intentionally student organizations that are international or just international students in general know who they can come to me, they can come to my administration, and we can start that conversation to get those solutions met.
My administration will help you secure those personalized documents, those documents that you need, the visas that you need, and we'll build a thing where we can even do fundraisers, we can do drives, giveaways, anything to make sure that y'all have what y'all need. Often, some people to get their visas, they have to get married. And I want to cut that off. I want to provide students the aid that they need to secure that visa.
The hallmark of my campaign, as I've said previously, is connectivity, connecting students to resources. So there are resources somewhere out there available to you to get the answers to your questions, to get the assistance you need, to get the support that you need. It would be my duty and my responsibility to find that and bridge you to that. The SGA president works hand in hand with Dr. Danny Kelly. He is our advisor. And so any questions about legislation, different campus entities, any information that we need, we go to him. And the SGA president has direct line and access to the president of the university. So he can ask questions. He can get information. He can get some assistance and some guidance as to how to answer questions and what information to give to students to make sure that they're successful in their endeavors at MTSU. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidates, you may now begin your closing statements. Senator Haddix, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. The title of president is just a name, but the work we do throughout this defines our legacy. Throughout this campaign, I've spoken about 3 pillars: quality, community, and unity. When I speak of quality, I am talking about a higher standard for our student government. I am talking about the resilience to move past good enough and the integrity to deliver real, measurable results on the issues that affect your daily life, from the cost of your materials to the accessibility of our campus. When I speak of community, I am talking about every one of you. A community isn't a community if people are left behind. Whether you are a transfer student like me, a commuter, or a leader in one of your many organizations, your experience is the heartbeat of this university. I have the poise to represent you in the highest rooms of administration and a discernment to ensure your specific needs are never drowned out. But most importantly, I am here for unity. We are true blue. We are the strongest when we move as one. We have spoken and spent time working in isolation. It is time we weave our difference into one singlehood, an unstoppable force. I am Travell, true. I am not just asking for your vote. I am asking for your partnership. I am asking you to choose a leader who stands in dignity, acts with purpose, and fights for a unified future. The work starts now. Let's make it true blue. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Haddix. Director McClendon, you now have 2 minutes.
My name is Devin McClendon. I'm a sophomore majoring in finance, minoring in business law and business administration. The hallmark of my campaign is connectivity, connecting students to resources, organizations to opportunities, and connecting students to a voice that's actually heard. As I've said previously, some of the initiatives that I want to work on, enhance, and create is improving campus Wi-Fi, creating an office and a position called Mr. and Miss MTSU to give students a way to be showcased and highlighted, which would become a tradition that celebrates student leadership, involvement, and what it truly means to represent this university. I'm not running to be the loudest voice in the room. I'm running to make sure yours is never ignored. This campaign is not about power. It's about people. And if you believe that MTSU should feel more connected, more supportive, and more like home, I'd be honored to earn your vote. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Director McClendon. Vice President Garrett, you now have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Thank you. I would like to end with, I have grown within my SGA leadership, again, starting as a freshman in freshman council to now being honored to be your SGA vice president. Alongside my running mate, Allie Pricer, again, we would be committed to refining your resources as student organizations, uniting our campus so that we are united front, and turning our action into real change as actions speak louder than words. We're not doing this to learn the job, as we are passionate because we have the experience and we know we can lead with you all and you all support. If our leadership, we need leadership that listens and acts and follows through. I hope that we can have your support and your vote, as Garrett X. Pricer is a winning ticket. Thank you all for your time, and thank you again to Election Commissioner Luis, Dr. Kelly, RJ, and our student for this debate. Thank you.
Can we get another round of applause for our presidential candidates? I'm going to go ahead and do closing remarks from here, but thank you all again for coming out and for another eventful debate. Thank you, Dr. Kelly, for doing a fantastic job as my co-moderator. I hope that what you have heard here today from your student body SGA candidates will help in deciding which candidates have earned your vote. Voting will take place via MyMT, and we will also be sending out an email to the student body on where you can access voting. Voting runs from March 2nd to March 5th, and we look forward to seeing you all display your true blue spirit by voting. I bid you all a wonderful and safe True Blue night. Thank you.